Thank you so much. Am I audible? Thank you so much, Dr. Ganji, for the terrific session. And I'm sure it got a lot of us thinking. I'm just soaking in the number of people in this room today. Before the session, Mr. Mahapatra and I were having a conversation as to how many of us would actually be in this room, given it is a Saturday. I live in Delhi. If this was an event in Delhi on a Saturday, unless it's a happy birthday party or a wedding scene, I don't think we're going to have this turnout. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for turning up. Give yourselves a big hand. It shows your commitment to the practice. Thank you so much. Thank you, INFOCOM, for having SAP SuccessFactors this year too. Thank you so much. We're very glad to be back. Thanks. Today is going to be a very, packed session, half day. And I want to start with a small story on the Taj Mahal Hotel. That's on the left there. And I love trivia. I'll give you some trivia on Taj Mahal. So this is a 108-year-old hotel property facing the Arabian Sea, which is run by the Tata Group of companies, which is known for their massive devotion towards community services. It had a lot of, first. It was the first building in Mumbai, to be lit by electricity. It had a lot of other stuff, like, for example, it was the first building to have German lifts, American fans, Turkish baths, you name them, they had it. It was India's first discotheque as well. First discotheque was housed in this building. It has also housed a lot of famous people, like the Clintons, Oprah Winfrey, Beatles, Brad Pitt. Any fans? Okay. So we had a lot of amazing things about this building. And the mission and vision statement of the Tata Groups has been always towards uplifting the quality of lives of communities and their customers. So much to the extent that during the time of World War, this building was converted to a 600-bed hospital. And in 2008, November, the building was attacked, and it was under siege for 2 nights and 3 days. The series of events that took place there would take many of us a long time to forget. 167 people lost their lives, and 37 of them inside the hotel. I don't know if you recognize this person. His name is Karambir Ganj, and he was a general manager of Taj Mahal Hotel at that point in time. His wife and 2 boys were staying in the hotel on the 6th floor when the attack happened. Very soon he was informed that the top floors were on flames and that he lost his family of his wife and 2 young boys. Yet, he was a man who led the rescue operation of 1,500 guests who were inside the hotel. You must have also read stories about how the kitchen staff formed a human shield and helped guests evacuate, in the process lost their life. There were also stories about people, telephone operators who were evacuated out of the building, who came back inside the hotel so that they can call the guests and instruct them how to get out of the building. There are a lot of things that happened there during those 2 days, but the silver lining for us, the reason why I'm telling you the story, the silver lining for us is the behavior of Taj employees during those 2 days. What caused that extreme sense of, customer centricity so much that each one of their employees stayed back to rescue their guests when they could have saved their own lives? And today, what can we as organizations, what can we as leaders in this room do to emulate this kind of behavior, this kind of culture in our organizations? Not just in the time of crisis, but during periods of normalcy. A lot of media houses, a lot of people interviewed people at Taj at that point in time to figure out why this happened, and nobody could explain the behavior. They simply couldn't explain the behavior of their employees. So Harvard Business Review took this up as a project. And Mr. Deshpande, who was leading that project, he flew to India to interview senior management as well as staff in the kitchen to security executives. And he also went through the HR policies of the hotel. And this is what came out. This is what he argued is the reason. The reason why the employees exhibited that behavior or that culture is a combination of the selection process of employees at the Taj, as well as the routinized reward programs. They have a pay for performance culture there. If anybody had stayed at the Taj, which I'm sure most of you would have, if you write a note about an employee, a few good words about Taj has a policy that within the next 10 days, the employee would be rewarded. They do not go to tier 1 schools to hire their employees. They go to schools to ensure that they find the right people. So they were exhibiting the characters and behaviors for which they were hired and then they were trained for. And in this case, an extreme sense of kindness towards their customers. In 2010, Independence Day, August 15, the hotel was reopened after restoration. And the first, famous foreign head of state to stay there was Barack Obama, the president then of United States. And he made a speech on the terrace of Taj Hotel to all the employees saying that today the Taj is a symbol of the employees' strength and resilience. All of this is good, the story went well, but for us, the behavior of the employees of Taj is a clear and compelling lessons for all the HR leaders. An organization is built around the purpose of the company. A work culture that is built around the purpose of the company is extremely critical when it comes to delivering value to your customers. How do you connect your people? How do you connect your workforce to the purpose of the organization? So purpose is otherwise defined or deciphered as the mission or the vision statement or the goal of the company. There are two engines that should simultaneously fire to get you there. One should be your people, the second, technology. Today, successful CHROs, they align with business processes to ensure that they have a talent strategy which is aligned to the overall business strategy. I'll give you a small example. If tomorrow, if your organization is planning to open a new office in a new geography or trying to enter a new market, often we don't see HR leaders in that conversation. It's a sad reality. The HR conversation is sadly around how can we go into real estate. I'm sorry, guys. How can we go into a real estate conversation? Which building should we go into? What are the rents like? Whereas the conversation should be more around what skill set would that market have to offer? What should be our competencies that we are going after there? What should be the compensation and benefit policy or the payroll compliance in that particular geography? Most important than everything else, what kind of employee experience do you want to give people when they walk in through the front door of the office? Today we live for experience. We pay for experience and we pay some more for experience. So that should be the focal point when you're talking about your talent strategy. Now the second aspect of achieving your boardroom vision would be technology. How many of you have young kids here? Show of hands. Okay. As a parent, I don't know if I should be excited by this or upset, but this is the truth. This is where it is going. And as paradigm shift, it's time for us to reimagine the way we do business, especially when it comes to technology. We have 5 generations of workforce 5 generations of professionals in our workforce, starting from baby boomers to Gen Z. And by 2025, more than 50% of our workforce would be millennials. And you know how we work. Everything is on phone. The way we book a cab, the way we order food, the way we buy groceries, find a date, why not at work? So it's very important to give employees an experience in technology because they come to work expecting different things of technology, and it is important to cater to those. Because 70% of the people who leave organizations, they leave for companies that are digitally advanced. While talking to some of the CHROs, we have noticed some of the top challenges in achieving these boardroom visions were, one, how do we come up with an organization culture where we can hire, develop, and retain top performing talent? Take the admin part out of HR, take the admin part out of finance, operations. How can we foster and build a culture where employees are excited to join our organization? Where employees see a value that is shared by both of them, where they can contribute to the purpose of the organization. When it comes to branding, there is no better custodian in your organization than your own employees. Your employees are your biggest brand ambassador. By giving them a culture, a work culture which is superlative, you're already guaranteeing that the top talent in the country wants to join your company. Imagine a situation where your own employees are writing beautiful feedback about your work culture on Glassdoor or LinkedIn or Indeed. Yesterday we were at a different conference in Delhi where one of our customers, Luminous Power, the CHRO, Debalina Datta, she was talking about how they turned the company's organization culture from 2.2 rating on Glassdoor, it went up to 4.7 in a matter of 2 years by adopting technology as one of the major levers. Now, I'm not going through all of the challenges, but the most important one is I keep talking to HR leaders quite a lot, and whenever we get into a technology or a digital transformation conversation, it's always, I'm doing 10 things. I'm doing 1, 2, 3. Can I do it on XYZ platform? Can I do the same thing? Why are we not talking about, is it possible to do 10 other things which might come up in the future? What are you talking about when we talk about your 5-year plan? What are the organization's 5-year plan, and how do I, as HR, align with those? Those are the transformational conversations. And any transformation in an organization is definitely a people transformation. The moment you bring technology into processes, it will definitely free up your people's time of repetitive, mundane work so that they can focus on things that really matter. And the biggest roadblock here is your people strategy to start with. And second, like Dr. Ganji said, the change management part. How do we adopt a culture where change is welcome? Leadership today is not just about how is my bottom line or how well am I doing in cost saving. It is also about how good am I in unleashing my talent's potential or increasing employee engagement. Because people, we light up when we have an opportunity to be creative at workplace, when we can innovate. In closing, what I want to leave you thinking is that most of the processes or methods that we used in the yesteryear successfully for managing workforce might not work given the drift and change in technology as well as the evolution of our workforce. And the only way that we can survive or succeed in this competitive world is by looking at change as an opportunity to learn and grow and adopt, and not look at it as a threat to your own existence. A few things about SAP SuccessFactors. I represent SuccessFactors for the northern part of the country as well as eastern Bangladesh. I'm hired, I'm paid to talk about SuccessFactors, but here is what the world talks about SuccessFactors. Talk about any of the research organizations in the world, whether it is Gartner, Forrester, IDC, or Nucleus Research. We've been ranked #1 in the cloud HCM space for the past 3 years. For the past 6 years in talent management space, we've been the leaders. We've been helping organizations transform their work culture and align their people to the purpose of the organization. And why are we being loved by organization? Because of the pace at which we innovate, because of how we help organizations transform, because of how we incorporate some of their feedback into a solution and come up with a new option. This is my favorite part. This talks about the robustness of the platform, where I'm talking about over 12 billion transactions done on the platform, which is on cloud monthly, over 100 million users across 67 customers across the world. Customers grow with us, they expand to newer region, territories without the worries of how do I abide with local regulations and compliance, how do I abide with the local laws of the land, because technology takes care of it so that you don't have to worry about all of this, you worry about your core business. We were the first ones to be GDPR compliant globally, which again helped a lot of customers to grow internationally. We've been pumping a lot of money, excuse me guys, a lot of money into our UI It's an intelligent and personalized UI that you have today on SuccessFactors, which gives you information and insights for real-time decision making. It's a platform which is available on your web browser, your phone, whether it is an iOS device or an Android device, it's all for you. We have an army of people who are stationed at the Apple headquarters today, understanding and learning what are the new things that are going to come up on Apple, on iOS, so that we modify and tweak our app on SuccessFactors so that the users don't find it disruptive. The UI of SuccessFactors is a Red Dot Design Award winner. That talks volumes about the UI adoption. These are some of the key pillars, whether it is any technology that you talk about, HR or otherwise. These are the 4 major pillars where all technology giants are focusing on. Our focus has not been any less. Organizations today, they want to run their business which is beyond bias, so that you have a more diverse and inclusive culture. The platform allows you to prevent, eliminate, and detect bias at various talent decision-making points. It helps you reduce your inequities, whether it is at the time of hiring or transfer or promotion or your performance reviews. It takes the bias out of the system. How many of you use Alexa or Google Home in your house? Wow. I don't. Okay, so I've seen my friends use it. You know, the way we talk to Alexa and say, Alexa, play this music. Alexa, what is it? Book a cab? If I had Alexa, my option would be, Alexa, please raise the child. Yeah, so if you're doing all of these cool things at home, why not at work? How cool would that be if you can talk to your phone and say, please apply for my leave? How cool would that be for a manager to say, please approve the compensation request or a spot reward? You don't need to touch anything anymore. You just speak to the device. We all watch shows on Netflix today. Please tell me if you don't. Anybody in the room without Netflix? Okay, Netflix is the mother of all, machine learning techniques that we know today. Their algorithms, the way they send you recommendations, the algorithms that they have, the elements that they take into building that algorithm, how much video you watch, what sort, what genre, what age group are you from, what kind of demography that you're coming from, how much time you spend on Netflix. Tons of moving parts go into that recommendation. And every single algorithm for that recommendation costs them $1 billion. And it's the same machine learning technique that you have on SAP SuccessFactors as well. I'll give you a small example. If I'm an employee and I'm taking a learning module, for example, I'm going through a learning course, it gives me recommendations more on what could be next there based on my learning the criteria, based on what the other people in my organizations of similar competencies, skills are learning. It also crawls through my individual development plan and my career aspirations 5 years down and tells me that, okay, you want to become a VP in 5 years, but how about these things which could help you bridge that gap? So that's SuccessFactors for you today. I am not going to go into the product at all. I'll just leave you with this slide. Today, SuccessFactors is the only technology partner that you can have which will take you through the complete life cycle of your employees from hire to retire, at the same time increase your employee engagement. Thank you so much, guys. I will be here during the day if you have any questions on technology, how you can leverage technology for HR, or how SuccessFactors have helped our customers. I would be very glad to have those conversations. I'll leave you with a snapshot of some of the customer names in India. This is only a cross-section. There are about more than 350 customers, but in the interest of real estate, that's all we have. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. I would request you to kindly stay back on the stage for a while. And may I please now request Mr. K.K. Mahapatra to kindly hand over, as a token of gratitude, a little memento to her. An applause, round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.